So this will connect out to YouTube and start
How
feeding
far
your
a leg
video.
is there?
It's like 30 seconds.
A 30-second leg. Okay.
Yeah. So that'll go. So that's happening in the background, and then on this page again, now it's got the live stream is starting. So that's what's actually being transmitted now. This is us,
Modern technology.
whatever, 15 seconds ago or whatever. And then if anyone joins, you'll see how many people are watching, how long it's been going on for, and then the chat if people start commenting things like "Hello from Finland."
Cool. Amazing.
So it's funny because there's people in the chat, but it says no one's watching. So there's that.
South Africa.
Yeah, we got a few. We got South Africa, Sweden, Norway,
Wow.
Connecticut. Boring.
Quebec. I'm going to Ontario, Canada. I see someone from Quebec, so.
Yeah, you're going up to like nowhere land.
Not really. It's just over the border of Minnesota.
No one really lives there though.
No, it's a wilderness. Canoeing, wonderful wilderness. Fishing, paddling, camping. It's nothing better.
It does sound like a good time.
It is.
So I think some people are here now. We might officially try to start something, I guess. So Chris is here. I put a link to his channel down in the description. You might know him from his infamous work on YouTube with his chopping with hand tools and all that stuff. There's a link in the description to his channel if you want to check that out. Chris, you're just visiting today. We're doing little videos. I don't know, you want to talk about your chopping and everything again?
Sure.
We shot a few videos today, and they
Yeah.
all talk about the same thing, and now here we are again.
Well, I'll just give the same spiel. So PBS does documentaries. They talk about people. MTV does rockumentaries, and Chop with Chris does chopumentary. So I'm doing my first chopumentary, and it's going to have 3 or 4 chapters. And what it's based on is I made a sitting bench for my wife, and it took about a year because I started with a limb and a dead walnut tree, and I finished the wood, turned into a bench, and presented it to her. And so chapter 1 is going to be just the high-speed video to music where you see the whole process. Chapter 2, I went into the detail of how I harvested the wood, the tools I used, and my process to dry it. And then chapter 3 is going to be a detailed how-to on how I constructed the sitting bench. And then chapter 4 is going to be related to the video production. Why I'm here with Matt today is I only use hand tools, no electrical power tools. I will occasionally build foot-powered tools, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't use any electrical power tools. And so I thought I would show how I would do these different processes versus how Matt does it with all his modern tools, both his modern shop tools, his amazing bandsaw mill, which I got to run today, and just show the juxtaposition of the two. And so I think it's going to be really interesting, and I hope you all watch and enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it. As I said in a few of the videos we shot today already, I'm very much looking forward to it because it tells even more of the story of those projects. Because as someone who has an idea what's going on, how much work goes into it, it's really cool to be able to see a little more of the story and a little more of like where you're at mentally with the projects. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I tried to spend a lot more time on that. I really enjoy making the high-speed videos. That's kind of what I'm known for with music and all that. But I know people really appreciate the detail of my thought processes, so I try to do as best I could with this project. And I'll be putting in different cutaways to Matt and how he does it versus me. So it should be really interesting.
Yeah. So Chris wanted to, I wanted to show Chris a little more about live streaming. So I thought you might be interested in that. So
Yeah, this is cool.
we thought we'd hop on for a bit and just kind of see what everybody's up to, and we can answer some questions if you have questions, or we can sit here and stare at each other.
Well, before we get started, I noticed that Ox in the Shop is on, and he went to Georgia,
You did?
and Notre Dame plays Georgia, and we have a bet on the game. And the loser has to carve the other team's logo.
Oh, really?
And I have to say, SEC football is really good, but I think Notre Dame's going to pull it out. So everybody be watching. Hopefully, Notre Dame will beat the Georgia Bulldogs this year. So we shall see.
Go sports.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
So let's we can kind of look through the chat here and see if anyone has any questions, or we can, I don't know, what else. Apparently I'm cheating on Shannon because he's apparently my only hand tool only friend. I think You might have a little bit of a leg up on Shannon though, because you're out there like chopping stuff up.
I like to start with a log.
Shannon just goes to. He works at the lumber yard. He just goes and pulls something up on a pile, and that's it. You're out there with your axe and hand hewing things and splitting logs. I don't know. That's a whole different world.
It is. It's very fulfilling, though. By the way, there's James Boggs fighting Irish. Go Irish, man. Thank you. Then I see someone said there's a Bama communist out there. Horrible. Anyway, I don't want to turn into a sports talk show. So.
Well, you can talk. I have no idea what you're talking about, so that's totally fine.
And I'm excited because I'm leaving here and going on a wilderness canoe trip.
Yeah.
So I'll be in the Quetico Wilderness area in Ontario, going with my daughter, my brother, and other family members, and we'll be paddling in the wilderness, catching fish. Should be a great time.
And you're saying that's something you do like every year?
Yeah, I've done it 20 out of the last 25 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah, even when I lived in Switzerland and when I lived in London, I still fly back for the trip. Yeah, it's a great time.
Wow.
So,
Good luck. I hope
you.
it goes well enough that it still is a tolerable and fun adventure.
it's gonna be tolerable, but chilly. It's gonna be in the 40s and rainy while we're up there, so it'll be okay. It's not a canoe trip; it's an adventure because anything can happen. So.
I like that. That's good. Let's see if we have any questions or anything.
Midland, Ontario. All right.
Oh, there you go. Bushcraft. You can do any bushcrafting while you're
Oh
out
yeah.
there?
Well, last year actually, I built the table with 4 tools. I brought 4 tools up.
That's cool.
I brought an axe. I brought an auger bit. I bought a froe. And I can't, maybe it's just and a saw. And I built a table, and then I caught lake trout, cooked the lake trout, and ate them on the table. There's a video on my channel on that. Is that bushcraft? I mean, what could be more bushcraft than that?
That's pretty serious.
Now, I didn't make the bow and arrow and shoot the fish. I caught that on a regular line on Rio. But yeah, it's a good time. I don't think I'm making anything this year. I think I'm just going to focus on fishing. So I'll maybe make a video on walleye, lake trout, and smallmouth fishing in the Canadian wilderness.
Maybe a little bit about like relaxing or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that idea. Here we go. So, have you made a wood lathe? Like a non-powered wood lathe?
Yeah, I'm
human-powered wood lathe.
Yeah, I made a foot-powered lathe that does about 12 to 1500 RPMs.
That's a good amount of speed.
There's a video. I have 2 videos on my channel on it. It's the high-speed video is called The Foot-Powered Lathe, and the low-speed video is called How to Build a Lathe. So if you go to my channel, you'll see that. And then I also made a foot-powered jigsaw or reciprocating saw for making puzzles. So I made that. I used the sewing machine base and some other parts, and so that's another powered thing I made. And then I'm probably going to make a bandsaw. I want to make a big bandsaw.
A big bandsaw?
Yeah, a big foot-powered bandsaw. I have all the flywheels I need, and I know. I mean, it's already done in my head. I just have to make it. So.
Well, you get that for inspiration, I guess.
Yeah. It won't be quite as big as your bandsaw mill, but it'll get the job done. I'm hoping. So.
Here's a good one. What's your favorite project you've done to date?
The best project I've done to date is when I made the dining room table for my wife.
I figured that would be it.
I mean, it's the first piece of furniture I ever made, and there's that video is called The Priceless Gift. It's on my channel, and I did a how-to video on how to make a table with that. But it's the first time I ever made furniture, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And she wanted out of barnwood, and so she saw me taking this barnwood into the basement. So she thought the table was going to look like a state park picnic table. She did. She thought it was going to look like a piece of shit. And when I surprised her with it, and you see it in the video, it's priceless because she was so shocked by how nice it was. So that's probably my favorite project. And probably the project that stimulated me the most was the foot-powered lathe, because I had to make 3 separate prototypes, and it's all with flywheels and those types of things. So it really challenged me, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, those are cool. I've seen the table, and it's awesome. It's as awesome as you think it is. And I have to say, your wife's reactions are like my favorite thing. They are awesome.
And you saw some new reactions with the sitting bench I made. Hey, I see someone is in the UK. I used to live in West Byfleet in Surrey, in London, and my address was Daisy House, Dashwood Close, West Byfleet, Surrey, and my zip code was KT146QH. You don't forget those things.
I just did.
And then if someone's in Switzerland, I used to live in Geneva, and my address was Quatre Vendu Chemin de la Mavoie, Plein le Watt, Genève. So that was a good time.
Wow. Let's see what else has to say.
If he makes a foot power bandsaw, would you feel inferior?
Not particularly.
Well, I can't make a powered one, so we're even there.
I don't know. If you make it and then you're actually able to cut something with it that big, so I can't compete with that. There's no way I can be upset about that. If you make a bandsaw that big, foot powered, and you actually make it through like a 4 or 5 foot diameter log without dying.
Well, the thing about using a foot powered thing is the first 10 seconds you think it's the stupidest thing you've ever made. But once you get warmed up and you get the blood flowing, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
I just need to get like a whole football team of guys running the foot power.
I just wonder how long that would take.
I don't know.
Just to cut, like one cut that width. I don't know.
Yeah, see, guy works for Ontario Parks. Thanks,
you go.
man. I'm going to Agnes in the southern part of the park. Prairie Portage. All right.
Nice.
Oh, someone's pretty excited from Poland.
Oh, I see that.
I've been to Poland a couple times.
It's a lot of little
Been to Warsaw.
faces.
Spoon for Lakers. Yep, there's a spot right off the shore, straight down, rock cliff. Drop the lure, catch Lakers every time.
Yeah?
Yep. Will the Bears be any good this year? In Mitch we trust. Their new draft pick, but they're having a hard time, but I can't give up on my Bears.
I'll let you answer all the sports questions.
Okay.
Well, South Africa. Have you ever been to South Africa?
No, I'd love to go. I almost went, because when I lived in Geneva, I had a chance to go to South Africa, but there wasn't enough money. But what's cool about South Africa, you just fly straight south, like 12 hours from Geneva, and it's the same time zone, so.
Oh, I guess that's true, yeah. Plans are almost done for the mill. Hopefully this month, finally be having those available. I'm looking forward to that day. Let's see. Oh, cool. I asked a question a year ago about what subject I should do in university. Your advice was helpful, and I've since passed my first year studying product design. That's awesome.
You're an inspiration, man. Good
I
job.
don't know. What do you know about shoulder planes and rabbiting planes?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I don't really like using planes. They're too complicated.
You just use a scrub plane. I just saw
I
you.
know, but I would prefer to use a draw knife than a plane any day of the week.
Okay.
Any day.
I will attempt to answer this question then. Should you get a rabbiting block plane or a shoulder plane? If you can only have one, the rabbiting block plane is going to be good because it'll be all nice and versatile, but it is not the best at rabbiting and shoulder work and things like that. A shoulder plane, dedicated shoulder plane, dedicated block plane, going to be much better than just a rabbiting block plane. But if you're just getting started and you can only have one, you need something to actually get some stuff done, the rabbiting block plane is a good way to go. So you get two tools in one.
Whatever.
Whatever.
I have no idea what those things are, so.
Blah blah blah. Draw knife. Blah blah blah.
My favorite tool, what tool I'd struggle to live without, would either be a draw knife or a single bevel axe. How about you?
My jointer, probably up there. I like that one a lot. And it's like a tool pick.
Yeah, they're asking which one could you not live without.
Come back to me. I gotta think of another tool I like that much. I don't know. Chainsaw?
Someone's not very happy.
Oh. Nope, it's coming. Don't worry. I really appreciate it because I do the viewer projects thing every week in my shop update, and everyone is so awesome, and I get so many submissions for that it's like at least 8, if not more weeks ahead. So if you submit something for the viewer projects, you won't see it for at least 2 months. That's unfortunate in a sense, but it's kind of cool because there's that much interest in it. So I don't intentionally skip anybody. Sometimes that happens, but I literally just go to the bottom of the list, the oldest one I haven't shown yet, and just pick the next 4. So there's that, I guess. Baseball team. You like baseball too?
I guess I'm a Cubs fan, but now they won it, it's not so interesting.
I like that. That's good. That was a good one. Everyone likes to ask me this one. What channels do you subscribe to? Or what other channels do you like to watch? Do you watch any YouTube videos, I guess?
Honestly, never.
Never?
I mean, I've watched a few, but I like to create content. I don't really consume it.
Okay.
It's just like, I'd rather be making something than watching it. It's just how I am. And when I'm in front of my computer, I'm making videos. So I don't watch many videos. I don't watch much TV either.
That's probably good. There's
Just-
probably nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Be more
No offense to
productive.
for everybody, including you. I do watch videos on Instagram though, the little short ones. But besides that, I don't really watch live videos.
I'll start posting all my videos on Instagram just for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Let's see. Do you use shooting boards at all?
A what?
A shooting board?
What's a shooting board?
It's like a board that holds. It's a thing that holds a board so you can plane the end of it to get. Down
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't do much planing, so no.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
To be honest, I mean, I have no formal training, so like when people bring up terms, I don't really know.
So you just gotta
Plus
watch
it's
more YouTube videos.
I know. I just nodded and say yeah, but I just like to figure things out for myself. But so what else? Look at that. There you go.
How thick should I make my workbench to be sturdy enough? I don't know. Mine's like way thicker than it needs to be. Mine's 4.5 inches thick, and it's crazy sturdy. How thick is yours? Or what size is your workbench? You have a couple of them.
Well, I have it's 2.5-inch maple on the main one, and the other one's 1.5-inch maple.
I think a lot of times the workbench design, the top, I mean, you don't want it to be super thin, but like anything at least 2 inches thick or 1.5 inches thick is probably fine. But I think the base matters more because you want that thing to be nice and rigid and not, wobbling all over the place and racking on you. I think that's where a lot of stability comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jeremy Pate, maybe you got on late, but I'm actually about to launch a series of 3 or 4 videos where I made a sitting bench from a walnut tree in barn wood. It took me a year, and then I'm going to show how I processed the wood in a video in detail, how I constructed it in detail, and then maybe how I did the video production. And Matt's going to be part of that as well, how he would do it versus me in some cases. It's going to be a chopumentary, 4 chapters. And then I did a Mickey Mouse cutting board, and then I'm probably going to do some carvings again. But it's been a while because I spent a year on this one project off and on, and so I wasn't able to get much else done. So it'll be out shortly.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I've said that already many times.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Russell. Russell says, throwing some bones because I like the hairy giggler. That's my nickname now.
I see that. I agree with that. It's true. It's true. You're a happy guy. That's good.
Oh, just watched your dining table video, and your wife's reaction is priceless.
It was. Every time I watch that video, I smile and get a little tear. It's just great. It'll always be the best thing I've ever made.
I don't think. Yeah, you'll never be able to top that.
It'll be difficult. Because her expectations were so low that I so far exceed them. Now she's like, well, I expect it to be nice. So you only get one chance to blow away your wife.
So
And,
you gotta,
I mean,
you gotta
let me
bring
rephrase that. You only get one chance to overly impress your wife.
Yeah. For a while, you just gotta bring the quality down. So
I
she
do.
gets
I
used
need to
that,
lower the bar.
and then bring it back up.
Exactly.
Again.
That would be good.
There you go.
Is that what you do?
No.
Your bar is over the top, though. You're Matt Cremona, so, you know.
There is that, I suppose. There was a question up here.
Someone said about kiln drying.
Yeah. From Double S, do I kiln dry your lumber and how I deal with bugs? So I air dry all my lumber, and the final drying I do is indoors, so I can get the same kind of thing like you do with the kiln. The idea with the kiln is, well, you get a couple things with the kiln. You get the insect killing, which we'll talk about in a second. You get a lower moisture content, so you get a moisture content that's at least or lower than indoor moisture content or moisture equilibrium. And you also distort the wood fibers, making them more brittle, and they absorb moisture at a slower rate than air-dried lumber. I don't like kiln-dried lumber because of that last point. It becomes a lot more brittle, and it's different to work with. I've worked exclusively with air-dried lumber for the last, 4 or 5 years, and there's no way I go back to working with kiln-dried lumber. There's so much more stress in the wood, and And it's more brittle, not as much fun to work with. If you're doing like a lot of like power tool work, you might not notice it, but if you're doing anything with hand tools, it's very obvious. As far as bugs go, I'll do a visual inspection on anything that I cut. So anything that goes in the house is inspected. And if there's any signs of any insect life, I quarantine it and set it aside and see if anything is still living in it. If there's nothing living in it after a month or so, I'll put it back inside. But if there is, most of the time, that stuff kind of like, it depends what we don't have a whole lot of insects here, which is kind of nice. But for the stuff that kind of likes to stick around, my friend has a solar kiln. I'll throw it in there and I'll kill anything. But I don't really have a whole lot of problem with a lot of insects. Most of the time, it's very rare that I have like an infestation where it's like an actually boring insect. But most of the things I have are carpenter ants, and those are really easy to get rid of. It's really easy to just milling a log with carpenter ants in it destroys their colony and confuses them, and they move on. So
Okay.
it's not much of an issue here, I guess. Let me go back down here again. Oh boy, I went too far. Do I like working with hand or power tools? I use both of them. So
That was an easy question. That wasn't. I mean, his answer was going to be both.
they're both
Which
enjoyable.
do you like more?
I like the hand tool work that I do personally. Like I know the power tool work I do right now is stuff I probably wouldn't enjoy doing by hand. So the stuff that I really enjoy is the joinery work. I like doing the hand cut dovetails and fine tuning joinery with hand tools because I really enjoy that process. I've cut Morse and tenon by hand before. It's okay. It's not super exciting for me personally. So I prefer to do that.
Nobody's perfect.
I know I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so far from it. I'm
Yeah.
not like you. Not perfect Chris.
I'm chopped with Chris, not perfect.
I always get this screwed up. Air drying time. Maybe it depends, I guess. Depends on the thickness and how quickly I want it to be dried. 4/4 lumber, if I cut it and put it right into the house, it'll be dry within 3 months or so. Maybe faster in the winter. 8/4 is usually about 6 months indoors. But most of the time, I'm not in a rush to dry them, which is kind of nice too, because you don't have to worry about as much drying stress. Just from the whole process of drying, it creates a lot of stress. So the slower it goes, generally the better it is. So I like to air dry outside a lot and get the moisture content down below like 20% or so, and then bring it inside. That's kind of like the ideal case. That's on the thicker stuff. On boards and like 4/4 stuff, it doesn't seem to matter as much because it's so thin. So that stuff can go right inside without any issues. But that's it, I guess. Am I widening the sawmill? No.
It's
Probably
pretty
not.
wide. You don't have a truck big enough to get. I mean, you'd be maxed out.
Yeah, like I would have to hire some kind of transportation thing to get a log bigger than, I don't know, 6 feet here, for sure. 6 feet would be pushing it. Like I wouldn't be able to load it on my trailer if it's more than 5 feet in diameter. But even at that point, when I built the mill, I had like 2 issues. I had the one where like I couldn't move anything that big, and then 2, if I couldn't mill anything that big. So I got rid of the can't mill it. Now it becomes moving it, but that's a little bit easier to solve because I guess hire a truck driver or tow truck or whatever to come move a log for me.
Exactly.
So that's less of a pain point, I guess. There you go. Question for Chris.
Yeah, so do you need to invest in good carving chisels? Should I buy cheap ones to start? So, it's like I get most of my tools at the flea market, except for carving chisels because there's so few of them. But, if I were to start, you can probably pick up a decent flat chisel at the flea market and really just focus on getting a good gouge and a V-gouge to start with. You can buy like a 4-pack. But you can still do a lot without that. But you definitely need some type of curved chisels for carving. So you do need to invest some money in carving chisels. There's no doubt about it because you just can't find them that easily. So I would invest in a couple good carving chisels, and then you can pick up your flat chisels about anywhere.
I assume like if you picked up some older carving chisels as well, they're a little bit tougher to get sharpened to that right bevel. Because they're a lot.
Oh yeah,
I guess
yeah.
It depends on the tool, but I mean
Yeah.
they got some goofy geometry.
Yeah, unless you really, it takes a lot to know how to sharpen carving tools properly, especially the older ones, because they're all chewed up, and so to get them, if it's something is in good shape and it's dull, it's easy to sharpen.
Yeah.
But they're all chewed up. It's missing chunks of metal. It's really hard to get that down without the right tools and the right machinery. And so since I do everything by hand, I can't buy those tools because I can't get them back the way they
Sure.
need to be. So
That's the ones that I have. I bought new, and I've been stropping them so they don't get dull, because I don't want to sharpen.
I know I do not.
I never want to sharpen.
You always want to stroke them as much as you can.
Oh man, it's hilarious. Let's see. Want to go back a little bit? I think we.
Someone asked if you sell the wood that you cut. And I think the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Almost all of it. I can't use it all. All right. Let me ask you a couple more questions, then we'll take off. Maybe.
Sure.
Are we good? All right. Submit your last-minute questions now.
Here we go.
Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Is Siberian elm becoming your new favorite wood?
That grows around here?
Yeah, I had a couple of them I sawed up. I'm looking forward to actually working with it. Visually, I love it. It almost looks like walnut, but it's a little different. It's a little on the lighter side, but it has a lot of like the walnut characteristics to it. So I think it's a really beautiful wood, and I have a bunch of it. So I think I'll be using some of it very soon. I've got a bunch of it I've been holding on to.
Okay. You know, someone asked how I've been carving. You know, I wouldn't call myself a wood carver. I have done some projects recently that are pretty good just because spent a lot of time on it, but I probably can carve them for about 5 or 6 years. I've only been doing woodworking about 9 years, so I'm fairly new at it still.
Yeah, that's good. How many? You want to do a couple more?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like this is fun. I've never done one before.
Where are we?
My favorite wood to work with is walnut, hands down. That's the last question there.
That's a good one. I have to say, working characteristics of walnut, definitely up
It's
there.
like chocolate. It's like carving chocolate. It's amazing.
Just don't eat it
No,
too much. Give you a tummy ache.
that's right.
All right. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for
Hey, thanks everybody. I appreciate it.
for stopping on. The link to Chris's channel should be in the description, as far as I can tell.
Yep.
It's there on my screen, so presumably it should be there. So check out Chris's channel. It'll be on a couple of the videos over here, and I'll be over on your channel at some point.
Yep.
Cool. So, anything else? You
Nope.
good? Good? All
Thanks
right.
everybody.
Have a nice afternoon, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
See ya.
Now I gotta go back over here and stop this.